Today's guest took his rock bottom and used it as a springboard to change his life and add to the lives of others. After countless setbacks and failures, Daniel decided to shift his mindset and live out a life of purpose. He went from struggling to feed himself to buying groceries for those in need. His promise to himself to focus on the positives is now a movement and a brand. Welcome the creator of the Positive Energy clothing brand, Daniel Davis.
What's up? What's up?
That
was cool. Yeah.
Thank you. It's all for you, and it's all true. All true.
Yes, ma'am.
So the Positive Energy movement and brand. What is the meaning behind that?
Well, the meaning behind the Positive Energy brand, which now I'm about to go through a rebrand, is actually going to be called PEIEKC.
Okay.
The PEIE, it stands for Positive Energy is Everywhere. Because I believe that positive energy is everywhere, and you just have to find it. If you're not looking for it, you need to start opening up your eyes to look for things that are positive. Because when you do that, you will find more things positive. That's what I believe, and that's what I wanted this brand to do. And the KC part stands for Kansas City, where I reside currently, and that is just where a lot of my positivity has stemmed from me moving to Kansas City. It was a definitely turnaround in my life. So it had a major part of it. And I wanted to put the Kansas City as a part of it to let it be known that this is where it actually was birthed from, and solidified. And then my whole total mission is to spread it across the whole world. So it'll be a Positive Energy NYC, Positive Energy Chicago. You see what I'm saying? The hubs all around, that's the ultimate goal. And basically, I want a lot of people just to experience more positivity and display it. So what better way to start that by putting it on things we wear, you know what I mean?
Right.
So you don't even have to say it. You wear it, somebody already know what type of time you want. And then when you speak, you start to act and move accordingly, because I feel it's contagious.
Absolutely. So that's dope. It's like you're speaking it into existence by putting the KC at the end. You're making sure that you solidify that brand in Kansas City where the change was birthed for you, and just, moving that to other states and other cities. So you've already spoken that into existence. Why is the shift in mindset to positive energy and positive vibes so important to you?
It's so important because of the benefits I've seen since I've started putting action to seeking things that are positive. It goes back a long time ago. I was talking about like more than 15, 16 years ago. Mm-hmm. I started to really self-evaluate. And I just noticed some things about me that I say, man, I complain a lot. It was just things that I noticed that I do a lot, and they weren't giving me any positive results. So I said, why do I keep continuing to do these things and nothing's coming from them? So let me see if I can stop doing them,
Right.
And there's a lot of other situations that spark those moments for me to look within through life. But when I started to just do things like, greet people, like, say hello. Because I used to be cold, like, man, my life is my life, and walk through, not say hi to people when they say hi to me sometimes. And I just be like, they so nice. Why are they so nice? You know what I mean? And then I just said, let me try something. Let me just, speak to people when I'm out. I just started doing things like that. And I just noticed that I made more connections that way. I just had more healthier conversations that way. I felt better that way. Just that little thing, like saying hello, good morning, things like that, with a purpose, with an intention. Mm-hmm. So I started noticing those things about me feeling fulfilled, me having healthy conversations with people. And then I just said, man, positive, I'm doing these positive gestures. I'm getting positive results from them. Not all of them, but most of the time, making connections, opportunities, people remember you. So I said, okay, let's ride this. And then over the years, I just started to change. I just started to change little by little. And then I always started to get inside my head about myself and how I can change things about myself to bring more of those positive results. So another thing I did was with work ethic. I looked at that. I said, man, I'm a slacker. I said, I know I can do better, but I choose to just do just enough. So then I said, man, how can I be more positive in my work ethic? Then I started to, make some changes there because I wanted different results. Really, I wanted to be successful. I wanted to be a better person. So that was the pursuit. And then it was just like, yo, I got to look within. I can't blame anything on the outside. I said, look, these little changes I have been making good results. So let's make some other changes. Where can I, do things? And then it's just a constant building process.
Right. Like a snowball.
Yeah, like a snowball. Yep. Yep. And
what kind of, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
What kind of things were you going through before the mindset shift?
The mindset shift. I was going through a time where I was just trying to find out who I was. When I was coming up, like being in school and everything, I used to see people, that I felt like had success or whatever. Like I didn't have my father. My father got locked up for 15 years of my life. So I had my mom. I seen her success. She worked. She's a captain. She was a correctional officer at Rikers Island. She moved on to captain and retired and everything, whole nine. So I always seen her work. And she always used to tell me, get your own. And I just seen how she moved. And some of my uncles and some of my peoples and stuff that I deemed successful, they had good cars and stuff like that, the stuff that's on the outside. And to me back then, that was like having those things meant success to me.
Right.
It's deeper now, but back then, that's what I used to see as a young kid. So I would always try to be that or emulate those things. Like I was trying to find who I wanted to be. I didn't know if I wanted to be a doctor, a lawyer, none of that. I was just going with the flow. So anything I seen that looked like success, I could do that. I'm going to do that. But I didn't know what I was supposed to be, if it makes any sense.
No, I get it.
So it was more like, all right, when we get to school, I see cats with the Jordans, the fly. I want to be fly too. So I would do anything to get fly, you know what I'm saying? If it was, getting allowance from moms, doing some chores or something, but I wanted to get fly. So it was like, I'm going to the Ave. I'm just pumping myself up, you know what I'm saying? For years. Yeah. And then it got to the point where I started to feel like, okay, I always got the stuff. And when I got it, it didn't feel good. Right. See what I'm saying? I had the sneakers draped out, leathers, all of that. And I was just like, yo, okay, I'm not feeling fulfilled. Like I'm not feeling great. I look great. I'm popular, everything, but it was always something empty inside. Like, man, what is this? And I think that's when I started to look at myself deeper at a young age. I didn't understand it, but I used to be like, man, this is whack. This is not the success. This is not it. So what is it? And I feel like I started chasing it more to find out what I was supposed to do. So the mindset change, I guess it happened early, but I didn't understand it. But when I came to the point where I was understanding it was when I was like 18. Like I graduated from high school and stuff like that. That's when I was working. I was really working. And I was like, yo, I got to get out. You know what I'm saying? I want to get out of New York. You know what I mean? And I was like, I don't know how, but I know me getting away or getting to a point where I got my own stuff, my own crib, my own thing. I think that's more success than me looking on fly and I'm in mom's basement. You know
right. Yeah, absolutely.
So the mindset change, I think it was from young, but like I said, I started to really understand what I needed to do to be whole when I got older.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's go back a little bit to what you mentioned about your dad. A lot of youngsters go through having a parent that's incarcerated. How old were you when your dad went to prison?
Man, he told me the story. It's crazy. I had to be, when I was, all right, when I was born, that night, he was on the run.
Oh, wow.
Right? He told me he made it to the hospital to see me born. And then I think like a couple of weeks after that, he was gone,
Wow.
locked up, right? So yeah, I don't have no memories of him when I was younger because he was locked up for 15 years. Then he was eligible for parole and he came out. I think we visited a few times, but I can't remember those times. I really can't. Like, yeah, he told me that story. I was like, wow, that's really crazy, you know?
Yeah.
And all through that time, my mom held it down.
Wow.
I was her firstborn, and I got a brother. His name is Derek. He's 26. We got different fathers though. And her sister, she had 4 kids, and she took care of them as well.
Wow. So you watched all that growing up.
Yeah. So, yeah, like I said, my dad, yeah, he was locked up from
yeah,
basically.
Yeah. When he came out, was there communication? Were you able to form some type of relationship?
Yeah, there was communication, and sporadically, I used to talk to him on the phone during his bid. So that was cool, but it was more distant. It was more like, all right, Dad, you know, love you. You know, like where I wasn't connected to him. He was just like, your dad on the phone call, and I'm like, yeah, you know. He's like, when I get home, da da da. You know
right.
The deal.
Yeah, I get it.
Cool. But when we got out, we did have a connection. And I always knew about him through the family on his father's side, because when my mom used to work when I was younger, I used to stay with my grandmother, my aunties from his side. So they always took care of me, you know what I mean? So they always told me the stories. Your dad was great, man. You know, he did what he had to do, you know what I'm saying? And he loved you. You know, they did those things. So I always was kind of close to him with the stories and how he used to move back in Midtown and Manhattan and all of that back in the day with the, you know, the Kangos and the big chains, you know, all of that.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I seen the pictures and stuff. So I had that image of him. And when he was closer to getting out, we talked, and I'm like 15 now. So he's like, yo, I'm going to see you and all of that. So I was like, I'm looking forward to that. So when we got back together, it was dope, you know? And he had went back like 2 times after that. But then, you know, that was cool. It was short. But we did build a nice relationship, and it was cool. I liked hanging out with him. We would just talk, and he always used to walk everywhere. He walked mad fast, and we in the Bronx. He's from the Bronx. So, you know, if you ever been to the Bronx, they got like the Grand Concourse, the steps and all of that.
Yes.
Man, and we used to walk up them steps, and all he do like this, he'd just be like, all right, we about to move out, because we used to take the train and everything because he didn't have a car. So he's like, yo, we about to move out, Dan. When I start walking, just follow. He don't never look back. He'll just be like this. Ready? And he just moved. And then I got to move. I'm man, my legs tired. We walking like 40 blocks. But on them walks, man, it was dope. And we did connect deep, you know, and it felt like no time was lost.
That's good. That's awesome. Yeah. What did you feel like, where we're from, because we're from the same area, not necessarily the same block, but pretty close to each other. I was on Murdoch and Farmers, and you were close to the Liberty, right?
Yeah, Liberty. Okay. I'd be all over, but Henderson, you know.
Yes.
Between 104 and Henderson. Yeah.
Yes. So in our community, I remember as a child, when friends of mine would say like their parents were married, it would be shocking. Like, oh, your parents are still together? Oh, okay. So I didn't really feel abnormal not having my father in the house. Was that feeling similar for you, or did you feel like you were missing something? What did that feel like for you as a child?
I did feel like I was missing something, and I was angry too, because especially when I got older. Because when I was born in Queens, but we lived in Brooklyn. My mom's lived in Brooklyn at one time. So I came to Queens when I was like 7.
Okay.
7 up in there. So when we got to Queens, that's when my mother's sister, she had took her kids. She had 4 kids, and she took them, you know, in as her own, because my aunt, you know, was dealing with some things. And when they came and I had to watch them and stuff, when I was, you know, I was coming up to go outside and stuff, and I'm like, can I go outside? And mom just like, look, you gotta watch them. I gotta go. And I'm like, man. So it really started to weigh on me a little bit. But after a while, it was like, I think about it, then I'm like, well, I'm helping moms, but at the same time, still, I felt like, dang, I can't go here tonight or that. So I think, to answer your question, I was missing a lot. I felt like I was missing out on everything that was going on outside because I had the responsibility at home to help with my mom and everything.
Right.
And then just the dynamic of that's my cousins, they family, but I'm so young, I'm not understanding that dynamic. Like, yo, you know what I mean? Like,
I understand. You were a child, helping to raise children for whatever reason, but you were still a minor.
Yeah. So it was tough. It was tough.
And that's not unheard of, especially when we were younger. I wouldn't even say it was only to our neighborhood. When we were younger, kids were a lot more independent. Even with my own son, I wouldn't leave him home now with children and things like that. But back then, you walk to school, you walk to the store, you take a bus somewhere, you ride your bike 5 miles away. It was just different. And, there were a lot of parents who were working real hard and weren't home. So siblings had to watch one another. But for whatever reason it occurred, it does affect children negatively when they have to give up a piece of their childhood to take care of siblings, cousins, things like that. But it all makes us into the person that we are today.
Right. It does. It does. So, yeah.
So you were talking about your dad and, how you felt as a child. And then you got together at 15 and started forming a bond. Is dad still around?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Still around, man. Still around. Love that dude, man.
That's awesome.
He's funny. He's he's a comedian, man. I'm telling you. But nah, I love him, man.
That's awesome.
It's strong. It's strong. He lives in Charlotte now. Most of my family is from down south. But it's kind of like they moved together. Like they went to Charlotte. Charlotte is very nice. I went to visit twice, and it's coming up. Like Atlanta, you know how Atlanta came up?
Right.
Charlotte is booming right now. So one of my family members moved down there, and then another one, and then he went to visit, and then he ain't come back. He said, yo, I'm cool. New York, hey, I'm cool. He got him a little job and everything. I'm like, yo, that's what's up. Because my pops was a hustler, so it's like it's hard to come back from that. When you come out in the streets, you know what I'm saying? You still, and, it's like attached. That's all you knew, you know what I mean? So it's new when you get out to, I'm going to go get a job, and then it's hard to get them, in most places. But for him to move to Charlotte, like, yo, I'm done with the streets. Like, that joint made me go. And I said, you got a job? I joke with him all the time. And it's so dope. And he's like, yup, I just come home, I kick back, you know what I mean? Make me some food, I'm cool. I ain't gotta go. No, yo, it's a beautiful
and that's
thing
impressive. That's impressive, I feel like. And I don't know if that's the right word, because I know after spending so long in the prison system and being institutionalized, it is super easy to go back. Because now I'm assuming he's a felon because of the time, the length of time. So it's hard to get a job. There's a stigma behind, you being a felon. And it can be hard to make money. You have this child that you've been wanting to see for so long. You can't provide for him. And all those thoughts can easily let you get back into the streets. And for him to just maintain that mindset, like we were just talking about, maintain the mindset of, no, I'm out, I'm staying out, and I'm going to continue changing my life and moving forward. I think that's really dope. Really, really dope.
Yeah, it's good. And then what's definitely good about it too is him and my mom have a great relationship all through it. They still talk together and everything. It was never no bad blood between them. So that was great.
Yeah.
And it was just all love once he came out. It's like pressing the play button on a pause video,
Right.
And it
That's
just
awesome.
boom. And I was glad. I was so glad because like missing out on that. My father, because I know my brother, he had his father, you know what I mean? So I was just like, man, and then it was deep for that. But I was glad that I could talk to my own dad and we could have that rapport when he got out.
Right. There's no replacement for him, even,
Nah,
watching your brother be with his dad, that has
yeah,
to spark, I don't know, jealousy, sadness, all sorts of different feelings. And then to have your own dad, this is
yeah,
your dad.
it was
That's,
different. It was definitely different.
yeah.
And for him to be home that long, it
Hmm.
was great. It was
That's
great.
awesome. That's awesome.
Right.
So we spoke about earlier your mind set shift. Got it right. What kind of what was the breakthrough like? Like the moments leading up to the breakthrough. What had to get you to that point to say, you know what, this is it. I'm done.
Yeah, a lot of setbacks, like a lot of failures, like a lot, like and bad decision making. Like I said, I always got what I wanted, but when I got it and the way I got it, it wasn't built on a solid foundation. So it always fall, and I have to keep building back up, or building back. So I was like, man, this cycle is not healthy. It's like, yeah, it's not cool. So what's wrong? That's why I started looking into myself, like I said. And I remember and then I had friends like Ken. You interviewed Ken.
Yeah.
I used to sleep a lot. You know what I mean? Back then, I used to be. I go to work and stuff, but then when I get off, I'm sleep. Like I'll sleep. I'm just slagging, lagging, right? And he used to be like, "Man, you sleep too much, man. You could be getting this done." And he always told me, I'm like, whatever, man. I like to sleep, right? So then one day I'll just be like, man, let me listen to what Ken said and try not to sleep today and see what I could get done. And then I was like, oh, okay. I had friends around me that encouraged me, like him. And then I know y'all talked about credit. So I had my dealings with credit. I jumped right in. They sent me, I think I was 18. Like I said, that number's significant. They sent me American Express card.
Wow.
The gold joint, right? I'm looking at it like, what? Me? All right, cool.
Right.
Charge it up. And at that time I was doing music.
Yes.
So at that time a beat machine I wanted called the MPC was very popular. And it cost $1,200. And I got this. I said, whoop, swipe. Got the drum, like, yeah, boo, 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 boo. And all through the time of from 12 up to 18, me and Ken, all of us, I had a studio and stuff, and we rapped and did all of that. So music, that was the main thing that we did. And charged the credit card up. Now, I was good with paying stuff back, like I had the job, but then I lost the job. You know what I mean? And it was crazy because I used to do loss prevention. But what was crazy is I used to sell cigarettes, because them joints is crazy. I used to sell cigarettes. So I was busting them at the door, you know what I mean? The traffic at the door, taking the sales away from the CVS, right? So I got in trouble for that, and I got fired. So now I couldn't pay that joint off. See what I'm saying? And I made a song about it too. It's crazy. So now, back then, what I used to do, bad decision, I used to let stuff linger. So I got this bill, and I'm just like, I'm not paying that, and I moved on. And I did that with a lot of other things. So guess what? Years down the road, it comes back up. So that's how I used to operate in the now, and then business stuff and stuff that you need to handle, I used to neglect it, like whatever. Cell phone bills, T-Mobile, they got the collection. I'm like, whatever.
As if it could just go away.
Yeah, like it could go away. And as I got older, I started to understand, like, yo, be proactive too. I learned about being proactive. So sometimes with credit and anything with bill rate, it's just a phone call could change the whole situation instead of running from it. So basically, deeper, I used to run from my problems, and then there's problems I created. So that's a part of the shift, just realizing like, hey, I keep going in these same revolving circles. I need to change them. And I used to blame other people. I used to not looking within. I used to blame. I used to be like, man, why me? Like, why this keep happening? Not reflecting it on myself.
Right. That's really significant. Just the phone call could really just change things. And that is very significant for your life in general. If you would just confront things, if you would just pay attention and just point those things out, things could go a lot smoother than sweeping it under the rug and pretending like it doesn't exist, because that's going to be on your credit for 7-10 years. I used to be in the car business. I worked for BMW, right?
Okay.
I just give you an example. So with any debt, it may stay on your credit for 7 years or 10 years, depending on the creditor. With BMW, if you pay them late 30 years ago, they're going to knock you today for it. They're like, no, you didn't pay well 30 years ago. So don't always think like that 7-year, 10-year deal is really going to hold you up later on in life. Yes, you can improve your credit in XYZ, but some lenders are going to keep your history forever. I've seen it happen.
Yep.
So just to go a little bit deeper into, who you were before. I laughed with Ken the other day. I said, Daniel went from Dan to Daniel. Like he made that shift, know? But to go a little bit deeper, I was listening to your songs and you spoke about it openly about, you abusing alcohol and drugs and things like that. A lot of people deal with that. A lot of people have past hurts and past traumas that lead them into alcoholism. Some people just like alcohol for whatever reason, and they just go too deep into it. When you first started abusing substances, how long did it take for you to even know that you were addicted? Because I don't think it's a light that comes on like as soon as you start.
No, it doesn't. Because I was just mad. I was mad social. So if I was in a social setting and everybody was, smoking weed or drinking, I started drinking first. So, and this is late in the game. I'm telling you, about 17, 18. I started late. Like I wasn't even with all of that, you know what I mean, in the beginning. But 17, 18, I moved out a couple of times and stuff. So I got around. I stayed in Philly for like a year and a half. So I was on my own. So that's when I was really getting around with things. So the drinking started that socially. I just, what they call that? Like when you drink, you get the courage, the drinking courage.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm just out here like, go to Times Square every weekend and just be out there like, yeah. So, and that's where it started. So I was like, man, every time I went out to have a good time, I had to have a drink. And my drink of choice was crazy. Devil Springs, 160 proof. You look. See, so out here like,
that is such a New York call right there. Nobody else says that.
Man, so that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just just being in the mix. So that was frequent every weekend. Then the weed came, and that mixed with that, that just set it off. And then before you know it, it's routine. I'm, at first, like you start smoking weed, but you get to the point where you just in the cipher, right. Then you get to the point where you buy your own shell and breaking down. Then you buy your own weed. Now you getting into like, I'm starting it up. I'm not just participating. Now I got my own flow, and that's what started to happen. And then I just start flipping up from there. And then my frequency got up. And it just started going higher and higher. Then before you know it, I'm walking around with I got them hats with the muff on it.
The ears.
I have like 5 blunts inside of there. Like,
oh my God.
This is at the point like I need to do this faster. So
I didn't even know people did that.
And then I'm just partying. So that's when I knew I had the addiction, but it was fun. I was living in the fun time at that time. How
old were you when you say, because you say you started 17, 18 with the drinking and smoking. How old were you when you say you realized that this is an addiction and this is a problem?
I was about 22, 22, 23. And that's when I had moved to Missouri.
Okay.
Right? Because when I moved to Missouri, it wasn't really nothing to do. And then I'm out here like, where's the parties at? Because I guess I was addicted before I moved, but I didn't realize it then. But I'm saying now I'm like, where's I'm looking for the socialization. And none of the people around me was going as heavy as I was, and they probably didn't even really know. They probably just thought I drunk. You know what I mean? But I was dealing with other things. And then when I got to Missouri, I met other people and that were into heavy stuff. Okay. Meth, cocaine, a lot of other things. And then I'm just like, I drink, I smoke, and now it's like my new friends, hey, here's this line. you know? And I'm like, whoa, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
This at that time, I'm like, yo, this is nice. I'm up. We out. And then it just turned into that. The only thing that I guess I was blessed with was the ability to, if I want to stop something, I can be like, yo, I'm out. You know what I mean? But I had the addiction, but it got to the point where, like I said in my post, I said one night I almost died. I think I was up for about 6 days, meth trip, you know, just a weekend, Monday to Friday we up. And with this one particular time, somebody told me that they had a morning bar. I never knew nothing about that. So you talking about partying all night, and then they got spots that open 6 a.m. with the drinks. So after a whole binge of 6 days, then this last particular day, we went to this morning bar thing, drinking and stuff at the wind down at the time, but we still up. We go say, yo, let's go eat breakfast. We go to this breakfast spot, and I'm eating pancakes and pancakes. And I don't know what happened, but I started to feel crazy. Like my heart was pounding, my head was crazy. Like I felt like I started seeing like purple and all types of crazy colors and stuff. And then next thing you know, I could only, remember that I went like that. And then I can't remember nothing else. But I woke up and I was in my bed in my house. The front door was wide open. And I'm like, how did I get here? One, my friends, they must have took me home, right? But I'm like, but when I woke up, I'm like, bro, I felt like I was about to die. So that's what hit me when I woke up. I said, but how did I get here? My front door's open, so I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened after that point.
To this day, you still don't know?
No, I don't.
Oh, wow.
Like, I really don't. And even the people, see, that's the thing, the people that I was with, I cut that off, and I never even really spoke about, like, how, I don't know who took me home. That's the point. Like, I just didn't know. And I'm like, man, I almost died. I felt like I almost died. Like, I never felt like that. And I don't know how I got home. And I said, my door is open. I said, yo, this is crazy. You know what I mean? That was like the point where I knew I was wilding, you know? And I slept for like 3 days because, see, when you come off of that, you be burnt, like, or you need to pick up. So I just kind of slept for 3 days and just got myself together to the point where I could function. And then I made another plan, like, yo, I can't be, you see what I'm saying?
Right. Let me ask you this. So you're saying that at the time you were getting high off meth and drinking and smoking weed. How long were you, and I have a reason for asking this, but how long were you using meth before that 6 days?
Before that?
Yeah.
That was about probably like 4 or 5 months.
And consistently, correct?
Yeah, like on the weekends. It was like a I call it like it was like a binge.
Oh, gotcha.
Once it started, this was a few months, about 6 months of straight. We go to work too, at work, on the job. Yo, it's crazy.
Right.
What's crazy about it is how many people are dealing with the same thing. I've seen coworkers lose their whole family in a 2-week span. Like, I've seen the arguments, I've seen the devastation, like the degrading, you know? We all was at the same level when we started. Right. Kicking it, but then you start, like, I'm like, yo, you're looking bad. Like I said, I was blessed to be able to be kind of, cool, but when we went home, it was a totally different thing. I'll just be in my crib. I'll just be like, making music. I think that was my you see what I'm saying?
Well, my reason in asking you that also was, what was that 3-day process like? What did it feel like to go from using for 4 to 6 months to just cutting it off for 3 days?
It felt bad. It felt crazy. Like, I was so tired. I was so in my head too, just like, what? And then the urge to go pick myself up, go back to getting some meth or getting high or something, it was strong, you know, for the 3 days. But after 3 days of just laying in the bed, I just laid in the bed. Like, what am I going to do? And then I started really thinking, it had me depressed because I was like, yo, my life is effed up. I really need some type of help or something. You know, I was just thinking all type of thoughts. Like, I know I need to get my life right because I'm out here wild. Yeah. And then I think I started thinking about my mom and stuff. Like, I said, like, what if people say, like, what if I die? Like, what if people would, like, what? So, after that 3 days, I just was like, nah, snap back. And I started, you know, distancing myself from the people. You know, they start calling, yo, DD. I'm like, nope, I'm in isolation. I'm working. I'm going to go back to work. You know, that job that I had, I got laid off from it. That's another thing with work. There's so many levels to this thing. I always got laid off from certain jobs, you know, because they were temps, you know, like temp to hire.
Right.
So what they would do is like, be like, you get the job and they'd be like, you got 90 days and we'll see if we'll hire you permanent. So I was doing that a lot because when we got to Missouri, that's all they had was this temp service called Express Personnel.
Right.
And, they used to give us jobs all around the city. So some of these ones, the one in particular I'm talking about where we, whatever, I'm not gonna say the name, but it was like a dog food factory. And that's what I'm saying. There's a lot going on in there. And I got laid off from there. They hired somebody for me to train, and they took my place. So I was feeling bad about that. But I think that was a good thing too, because I was in a crazy environment. There's a lot going on there. So I went to this other plant that was making pipes, a pipe factory, and I was able to be separated at the workplace with new people. So with a new outlook and the new people, I think that was a great situation for me. And that was another pivotal point because I said, all right, let's get back to, that's where I said work ethic and how I treat my jobs. That other job, I treated it like trash. It was a great job, but look how trash I was living, how foul I was into, all this other stuff. I wasn't focused on the work. I was playing in there, you know? So I said, this time I'm going to dedicate some real intention and purpose into my work and my life at the same time. And I went in there and I put my head down and I got hired. And what's crazy is it goes into me, you know, dating my wife now. She's my girlfriend then. How I met her and everything, because she was like, yo, you should move to Kansas City. There's more opportunity. And I just got hired on that week to that job permanently. So it's just crazy. It's crazy how things work. And there's so many layers to how it all came to be.
Right. Tell me about your wife. So what was the meeting story like?
The meeting? Oh, that's deep too. And it's all this stuff happened at the same time. So while I'm coming off of this drug addiction aspect, now don't get me wrong, it wasn't like I came back mad cold turkey. It's just all the meth, the coke, the acid stuff, like all that crazy. The weed and the drinking, I would do those here and there, but it wasn't like I was going into it like a constantly, you know, like on a frequent basis, like every time. And I wasn't partying like that.
Right. But let me ask you this before you get into that. You know, a lot of times people quit a bunch of times before they make that one solid quit.
Solid.
How many times, if you know the number, how many times would you say you quit before it actually stuck?
Man, probably about six times. 6 times. And that was just like out of 6 times out of like in the perspective of, in the mindset of just like, I know I got to do this to get this. See what I'm saying? I was in a different frame. Nowadays, I'm a different frame because my whole life has changed to where the partying, that's not even I party with my wife. Like we do things like that. It is not like I got to be in clubs. I don't have to be in that light. You know what I mean? So it's a whole different vibe now. But back then, it was about 6 times before I really got really focused. Like I was really on some, I'm out of here. You know what I mean? Right. And my wife, when I met her, it was at a party, which is crazy. But this situation was mad different. because I was coming off of that, and not too long after that, somebody invited me to a party. And oh no, here, missing one thing, the most important thing. I had got to going to church again, because even when I was younger, my mom she brought us up in the church. Latricia Davis, Open Arm Ministry. She brought us up in the church because she was trying to figure out her life at the time when we was younger. So I always knew about the church. I always knew about God and everything, but it was more like, oh, come with me. I didn't have my own understanding of it in the beginning, but I always knew where to go back to if I needed some type of inspiration or something to be like, all right, I'm gonna hold on to that, So at that time, I was like, yeah, I got the job. I'm gonna be more intent on my work ethic. I'm about to go find a church. I found some church around. I started going, and that was cool because I, had a little routine. I'm like, I'm cool. I'm gonna get my money right. I'm gonna get my life back right. I'm just zen, right? So one night, I got on bad times. I was just living, like, walking around, no money. I have no car. My life was just simple, just walking all around the town, like on the side. I never did this though, nothing wrong with that if you needed a ride, but I was like, I'll walk, and I just trucked it like that. So when I met my wife, one night I was just in my feelings and I was just like, God, why is this like this? And why is this like that? And why? And I looked up and I said, you know what? Scratch all of that. I be asking you for so much stuff. And I said, I haven't done one thing, your way. I haven't did one thing. So I said, you know what? As far as I know me with the women, I be going to these bars, be trying to flirt with women and stuff. I said, the next woman I meet, I'm going to make her my wife and I'm going to do it your way. And I got up off the ground, wiped the tears. Cool. I was by myself in my crib. And the next weekend after that, which is crazy, is somebody hit me up. Yo, D, come to this party at the Alpha House, because there's a school down there called Missouri S&T, and they used to have the parties at the the fraternity houses. So all that stuff I was praying about, all that, it went out the window. See what I'm saying? That's the
like
human,
that.
Yeah, like that. I was like, I'm bored as heck because I've been in isolation. I haven't been out. I've been just cooling. So I'm like, yo, I feel good. I feel like I ain't gonna do nothing bad. I'm gonna just chill, and I get out. I said, I need to get out. So I'm like, cool, I'll just come through, say what's up, and then go back home. But I went there, and what's crazy about this time is normally I'm like the life of the party. Like I'm just cool. Everybody like, yo, D, what up? And it's like that. This time it's like God made me invisible. Because I'm like, yo, what up? And nobody giving me that same, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
yo, what's up, bro? They like,
Right.
all right, D, what up? Like, everybody just moving around. And I was like, yo, this is dead. I'm about to go home. So I sat on the steps. It was some steps. And then my wife, she came over and she was like, that's a nice jacket. Can I have it? And I'm like, nah, you can't have this jacket. But whatever I said, we just start laughing and talking, right? And we talking for a little bit. And I'm like, well, in my mind, I'm like, oh, she look good or whatever. And I'm thinking in that, my old way, see, that quick. And I'm like, we just talking. And I'm like, oh, she look good or whatever. So if this is the only action I get tonight, whatever, like, we gonna ride this, right? So we talking for a little while, and then we get to talking about, relationships and stuff and sex. And she's like, well, she's a virgin. And I'm like, oh, I'm out. Like, I start moving the conversation to another way. But it is. I get up and I'm like, have a good night or whatever. I'm about to, go to my crib or whatever. And I've spent the corner to the step, and then I'm like, it's like God told me, like, hold up, bro. Remember what you said? Like, remember? Mm-hmm. And I said, oh. So then at that end, and then I looked at the conversation, the point that got me stuck was she's a virgin. I said, hold up. If she's really a virgin, bro, I said, that's a good thing. Like, what am I? Hold up.
Right.
I spent back, and then I started talking more. And ever since then, it was dope. We started talking on the phone for months and stuff like that. And I'm like, yo, I'm gonna do it right. So I was on, like, trying to do every step right with no fornication and stuff like that. So we talked on the phone for hours, long months, right? And what's crazy is we got lost out of touch or something. So it kind of like, I don't know if you ever been in that situation where everything was cool, but I got into a point where I was tunnel vision on something, and then the calls just started. It just started to just, and there was no real explanation for it. But then I guess in our own rights, we was like, well, maybe this ain't, and then we just left it. So it wasn't no communication for a long time, a few months. And what's crazy is, I think I had got into another relationship in the interim, but that didn't work out, right? And it was another party, like a year later, it was another party. And she had came, I'm trying to think. She was in the party, I was in the party already, and then she came. Her cousin is a alpha, so she was coming to visit him. That's how I met her the first time. She knows him. So, and I know him too. So she came, she was in the party, and I seen her. She seen me. He was like, oh, what up? And what's crazy about that night is, at the second party, I did get high. See? So I was high that whole night, which is crazy. And she shocked me, and I'm like, okay. And then we just chilled all night. And I think, that was another instance of one of the 6 times, I guess, where it kind of reminded me like, nah, bro, shape up. Don't lose yourself. You know what I mean? And just seeing her, it really sparked motivation back in me, at that time. So then we start talking again, and she came to visit me like 3 times. And I had like an airbed, but it was flat. Like, okay. She's a trooper. So she was from Kansas City to come see me. She came 3 times. So what happened was, we seen each other and everything like that. Then she came to visit 3 times, and I was just living real nomadic. I had my own place, but everything was stripped. I ain't had no couch. I ain't have nothing. Like, look, this is what I got, and we just went out, kicked it, ate and all that, just built a nice relationship. And the 3rd time she came to visit, she was like, yo, you should come to Kansas City. It's more opportunity. And like I said, a week before, I was like, well, I just got hired on at this job I've been working for to really get hired. And I'm talking about I had like 5 other jobs that didn't hire me permanent. And I had to make a crucial decision. Like, I was like, yo, I'm in love with this girl. And, opportunity is good. And at the time, my mom said I got to living easy. Like, I was just living real basic. Like, the minimalist lifestyle. Right. And I just got accustomed to that. I was like, I wasn't even trying to pursue more big dreams no more. I was just like, yo, I got my own place. It's cool. Right. I'm cool. And I made the decision. And this was just crazy now. Look, she just got her own apartment out there. So I'm like, yo, I'm not trying to live with you because, I'm trying to do my thing right. Right. And she's like, no, I said, that ain't right. Like, I'm like, all right. So what I did was crazy. Look, this is what I'm telling you. I was so serious. I said, well, maybe what's your father? I said, I know he don't know me, but maybe if I could, I'm good at getting jobs and stuff. I'll probably have one in like 2 weeks and then get my place. So would your parents allow me to stay in your basement or something? In their basement, I mean? She's like, I don't know. And my daddy is da-da-da. I said, well, I'm going to try. So I came up to visit the Kansas City with her. And I said, look, I'm in love with your daughter. Da-da-da. My name is Daniel. You know what I'm saying? He was like, he was like, what? Like, yo.
That's a lot to sprinkle on him.
No. He was not having it. And I was like, man, I tried, you know what I'm saying? I knew the reaction would be, but I was like, I tried, you know what I mean? So I ended up still moving in with her. I got a job. Her mom actually put in a word for somebody to give me a job at this place called Owens Corner. It's actually what I do now, but I work with the competitor now. Okay. But that was then. So it was a great job off the bat, and we was living with each other, right? So I was like, God, hey, I tried every option. You know what I mean? I was like, man. And then I got the opportunity that she was talking about, like ASAP, like in 2 weeks, right? And we was just going out eating and just enjoying each other for a long time, for about a year. No fornication, you know what I mean? Now we kissed and all of that a little bit, but no penetration, nothing like that.
Why not? There are a lot of people on that, I guess, wave, if you want to call it that. Yeah, but there's a reason behind it, of course. Why was that a personal decision for you? I know she was a virgin, but what was your
It was
drive
a
behind
personal
that.
decision for me because, like I said, I've been dealing with a lot of relationships and stuff, and the way I moved, it was like, yeah, those things was revolving as well. You know, for my life, it was just like, all right, let me do something different. You know, and then my faith, you know, with God and everything, and I know of what the Bible says about that and that. So when I made that covenant with God, like, yo, next month on me, I'm gonna try to do it right. I'm gonna do it right. You know what I mean? So I was adamant about taking those steps, and I think that was just a challenge for me because I'm used to the same revolving door. Like I meet somebody, yeah, we don't really know each other that well, and we have sex, and then there's nothing for us to explore in the future. You know what I mean? So it was like cats out of the bag, and now what?
Right.
You know, it's like we already doing all these things. So now what we have, you know, that's how I looked at it. And I said, all right, with this one. And then I come to realize, I said, yo, it was kind of dope how we did it because we got to know a lot about each other first. And then when I finally got it, when I got married, it was dope. Like it was different. It was like,
right.
Okay, yeah, we hired
Right.
more because it was hard as hell to maintain
Right.
for a year. Because
Yeah.
it got to the point where we was like, yo, we just gotta get married, yo. It was like, woo, you know what I'm saying?
Do you feel like sex can cloud judgment?
Yeah, I do. I think it can. I
Mm-hmm.
think it can. I think it can. I think it can.
Have you ever? Go ahead.
Because the way I looked at it was like when we actually started having sex, it was like I think like, and then she's a virgin, so I think I don't know, I can't speak for her, but for me, having other experiences, it's like, man, I could see how like if the sex was just great and then you do things based on that, then you don't have nothing else as foundation. You know what I mean? I mean, I could feel that. Like I probably would have made some crazy decisions, and I have made crazy decisions in the past.
Right.
As far as relationships, and then we go into sex so quick, and then you like, I just like that, but what is this? But then you got apartments or you got things with them that when y'all break it, it's like turmoil. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, was it worth it? I don't know. And it's all part of the experience. So
yeah, not really get to know the person as well, because the goal at the end of the night or in the morning, whenever it is you choose to have sex, that's the goal. That's what you're getting to. So you kind of skirt around the conversation and get over the hard parts so you can get to the part that you really want to do.
Right. So yeah, it was definitely a challenge, and I think it was a challenge. It was for the better, because I see the benefits of that situation and how it all played out, and how we communicate and how we do what we do. You know, it was great.
So when you tell me about, you know, your history and, you know, meeting your wife, that's a dope story, because you just told God that. You just told him, like, I'm gonna make her my wife. And even though it took some time, you know, it wasn't immediate. You didn't marry her the next month. You just separated for a year. But to get to that place, I hear a lot of people say that they had to hit their own personal rock bottom. You know, rock bottom is not it doesn't have an address. Not everybody's going to go to the same rock bottom. You know, yours is going to be different from mine, and that's going to be different from somebody else's. And I've also heard the saying that nobody visits rock bottom twice. Now you could, you know, hit this level and this level, but rock bottom it's on the bottom. You know, that's it. There's no going down. There's no going past it. That's rock bottom. Would you say that 6-day period that you were telling me about, or 9 days really, from the moment you first started getting high to the end of the 3 days, would you say that was your rock bottom? And if not, what was your rock bottom experience like? And then your shift moving back upward?
Yeah, I would say that was a rock bottom. That was the most pivotal rock bottom. For me, yeah, that was the rock bottom, like almost dying. The way I felt like it was, yeah, that was the rock bottom, because it's the most memorable one. Now as far as that's it. I ain't even gonna.
I know. I got you.
That was it.
So the Daniel that you are today, you're out there, and you didn't tell me this, but I told you I'd do a little research on you.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
You're giving out groceries to others. There was a time where you were struggling, and I did hear this part on your motivational series on YouTube that
Yeah.
you and a friend used to split meals, and you were struggling to feed
Yeah.
yourself. And nowadays, you're taking your own money and you're making sure that other families are eating and things like that.
Yeah.
So the Daniel that you are currently, when you were younger, did you know that he existed, or is he a surprise to you?
He's a definite surprise.
Mm-hmm.
He's a surprise because who I was before, I was selfish.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't thinking. I was only thinking about myself and my success.
Mm-hmm.
I would just have the normal feelings of like jealousy, envy
Mm-hmm.
when I was younger, and it wasn't more like I hated other people's successes. I was just super motivated by them that where like once I see what I want, I don't care about nobody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I didn't include nobody else.
Right.
It was more like, yo, I gotta get it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that part of me now looking at this Daniel, the
Mm-hmm.
Daniel, I said, bro, I was and I was a bad person, but people will say, no, you wasn't bad. And I like to argue a lot too back then. I loved it, even if I was wrong. Just that. And I said, ooh, and to me it looks very ugly. Like who I am now. I said, boy, I'm glad I changed that.
Right. So why help somebody else? A lot of times, and I won't say most times, but there are times that when people feel some sort of healing, they just keep it for themselves and they just keep moving forward, blinders on, and don't pay attention to others. Why do you feel the need to reach out to other people and help bring them along on your journey?
Because I feel like through the experiences that I had, I feel like if I show that to the world, that it'll catch on. And what I'm saying by catch on, because it's like I told somebody, I said, like, it's like the norm, like 3 reactions to things, because this is where the energy comes in, positive energy. It comes in because it's like you got the normal reaction to life, like like on a certain level. Then you got the second one, the secondary reaction to things, right? Now, and then I say you got a third. So like, if somebody say, yo, say something bad to me, I could say something bad back, right? I could do that.
Mm-hmm.
What does that do, right? It makes me feel good because I defended myself, but okay. But then if I look at it with another reaction, it'd be like, well, I'm not gonna say nothing. I could say something positive back. I could say, hey, why do you feel that way, right? Then sometimes the third reaction could be like, just like something else. It could be something else where it could be dealing with time. So like if I see that person, like if I know it's a person that disrespect me, I'm gonna see them again in another instance. It's not that big to me right now because it's not gonna throw me off of my square because I'm gonna get the positive out. So I'm gonna help you. You know what I'm saying? You may be going through something. So I think that's where empathy plays in. But you may be going through something. So what I'm gonna do like a third reaction. I'm gonna let time do something. Then I could come back 3 days later, like, hey, how you doing? And you disrespect me. And then I call it like a neutralization. I figured out that like, the world, the world could tell you how to be and how to do something and react to things, but I think life and energy flows and it has a way of correcting itself sometimes. If I'm trying to make any sense,
I get that. It sounds to me like go ahead.
Yeah, what I'm saying is it's like through my journey, I've built up a certain strength. And I know that some people may not have those same strengths. So what I want to do is spread that energy to the people so that they may be encouraged to build up their strength and use it in that same way. So basically it's like I was given something and I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give it back to you, basically.
That's dope.
That's what it is.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That reminds me a lot of like the grace of God, right? So throughout my own journey, I've been getting a closer and closer relationship with God. And I've always heard the grace of God, but never understood it. So for those who aren't familiar with the grace of God, it's unearned. It's when you do something bad, but God keeps blessing you anyway. It's grace, right? So I have not lived a squeaky clean life. I sin regularly, everybody does. And God keeps blessing me. He keeps providing me with grace. But on the other hand, I was mean to everybody, just mean. If you wrong me, you're done forever. I don't know you anymore. Don't talk to me. You're finished. And I remember when I was really learning about grace, I was like, God is so graceful to me. He's always blessing me, even though I'm wrong. And I had to look at myself like, you don't even afford that to other people. You don't give that to anybody else at all. So for you to use that time aspect, and they do you wrong or harm you in some way, and you just let time just pass so that you could do something good for them, that's grace. That's affording them grace, even though they wronged you in some way. Your first thought is, how can I do something nice for you? How can I do something because that just changes the whole energy between you and that person, your transaction with that person. You can't be mean to somebody being nice to you.
No. It's tough. That's why I said neutralize it, and then like when you start to look deeper at it, you can kind of see it coming. So it's more like another analogy I had, like I'll be like, I see in like 5D, you know what I mean? So, and that's with energy. That's when you like study. That's why everything is cool with the energy, because I study energy. It's like God gave us a lot of things to absorb in His life, right? This is the story. God gives a lot of things to absorb in the life, and one of the pivotal moments where I realized that I need to look deeper into what is all around me is one day I was coming home from work, and I think I dropped, you ever like get out the car and drop your keys? I had one of those moments. Drop the keys and I'm about to go into the house, take a shower and do what I got to do. But I dropped the keys and I just looked up at the sky. And I realized that I haven't looked at the sky in about a year. I said, I need to slow down. I said, I need to appreciate what I have. I need to appreciate what's around me. So from that day, I actually just stood and stared. I said, man, a cloud, it looks nice. And that was an awakening moment for me. I said, I'm too busy. I said, I'm out here. I'm not focused on everything that God has given. So I said, from that day on, I started looking at trees different. I started looking at people different. I just started looking deeper into things. And I said, I found so much joy in that as well, and positivity. That I started going outside more, just to breathe, look at things, look at the nature and stuff like that. As I said, now I'm a nature boy, but all of those things are accessible to us. So when the money's not there or something else, you have something else to be appreciative of. And that's another part of the positivity and positive energy, because appreciation, there's joy in that, and finding those things that you have already, just your life, just you getting up in the morning. Now you may see turmoil around you. I see it too, but when you could go outside and say, dang, there's life, then your life is worth living as well. You just gotta appreciate those things, and then it'll snowball. All of this stuff snowballs once you start to focus on it. So
it does. Yeah. You shine a light on the good rather than magnifying the bad.
Man, and it's so much. That's why I say positive energy is everywhere. And when and that's what I'm saying, when you look deeper, it's like you could just be like a positive, being nice. No, like when you out there and you see animals running around freely and doing their thing, and you look at the process, like, yo, it took this to make this and this to make that, and how this grew, the process, you like, it might blow your mind. It might just take your mind off of a lot of the other things. And then when you come back to, and you got to attack those things. And that's the thing about being proactive. So that's a part of the positive energy. Assessing situations and implementing plans. Like, that's a part of the positivity, because when you don't plan and you don't, put things into action, then what are you doing? You're probably in your own head thinking about the negatives and focusing on why is this not like this and why is this not like this. And all it takes is a certain type of awakening. So it could be a walk. This is another thing that I learned. Doing the same pattern every day, like switch it up, or take a walk. Just you taking a walk, one, that's healthy, but two, you never know who you might meet on that walk. See what I'm saying? Staying in the house and in your own head and in your own space, like it's free to go out and take a walk. You never know who you might meet. Your blessing might be right around the corner, somebody in your neighborhood, and then that's what I'm saying. When you say the hello, that might be the introduction to a whole new path. You never know. And some people is met with resistance. Some people be like, well, like I said, you may see them again.
But that's an awesome thing about it, like being met with resistance. Because as New Yorkers, we don't talk to each other, right? If we don't know each other, we don't talk to each other. It's not a hello in the street or anything like that. And I was the person when I moved down to Georgia, when you say hello to me, I'm like, oh, whoa, do I know you? Have I met you from somewhere? But it wore me down eventually. So now when I go back to New York, I'm like, hey, and they look at me like I'm a weirdo. But just keep being nice, because people like myself, that's a native New Yorker, and we're naturally just gonna shut people off. It will get to us. We will get nicer. Just keep being kind to people.
Right. And it's an amazing thing just to see it all, how it works out. Those connections. How they work out. They sometimes some take longer to build, but you just keep doing it, and it snowballs, man. It's a beautiful thing when it comes back. And I always talk to my younger brother. He's actually here. He works in the music industry for Post Music Group, and he was staying in Cali, but he came to visit, and now he's talking about moving here. So he's feeling the vibe too. So. I always tell him these days that I have where the seeds are being planted. I'm always planting seeds, but it's always the time where my cup is kind of running low. There's those times, and I always say positivity does not mean perfect. So and it's levels to energy. Like you could be charged. I say charged up. So I could be on 100% level one day, and then some days I could be on 85. I could be, and I notice it, right? But it's always those times where I get to being in my own head and be like, is this right? Or am I doing this? Or, that all of those, the harvest come back. It'd be a phone call, yo, D, keep it up, bro. I see what you do. Yo, thanks for helping me. And it'd be one of those days where it's all over. It'd be like a design I put out, it comes back, or a package out. It just, and it hits me. I'm like, wow. So like I said, the snowball, when you start to take those small actions in a positive way that you may not normally do, and they start to come back, man, it just keeps flowing. The energy keeps flowing. So, and I'll end with, I'll stop this with this. It's another analogy that I came to. It's energy with, like wires, being a conductor of good energy. So I don't want to be a hindrance. If somebody giving me the energy, I'm gonna absorb it and then let it flow through me to you. I'm not gonna stand in the middle and just break the connection. So that's why I love putting people together, businesses and things. I share everybody. People be like, bro, you got your own brand. Why you sharing their brand? What you mean? Here, let's share that.
First of all, because God is the God of abundance. And I think I mentioned before in another video, your gift will make room for you. You don't have to fight him. You don't have to fight her. It's going to make room for you. There's room for all of us. Come on in.
Come on, let's go. Right. So I want to be a conductor of the energy.
That's awesome.
Flow through me. And that's it. That's why I say absorb it, give it, and protect it. Because like I say, positive energy don't mean perfect, and there's times where you got to protect your energy as well. So you be, but you move. It's like water. You know what I mean? It's like water. You gotta be like water. That's what I say. I was telling Derek, be like water. And be one. Be one with your surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
you know. So it's plenty of things around you that you can absorb and
Mm-hmm.
use to your advantage,
Right.
and use it in a positive way.
Yeah. So there are a lot of people that struggle with attaining that mindset. I used to be negative all the time. I felt like I had good reason to be negative. Probably did, you know,
Probably
but
did, right?
right. But could have done better with having a better mindset. But it's a practice. Having a negative mindset is a practice. You
Yeah.
rehearse it, you practice
Yeah.
it, and then you execute it. And you
Yes.
do it all the time, and it becomes natural.
Yeah.
So if there are any people who were in the position that you were in your younger years and just have a negative mindset. Everybody's out to get me. This job, I'm probably gonna lose it. My dog hates me. Whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
if they're just stuck in that cycle of having a negative mindset, but know they need to make a change, what advice would you give them to help them make that shift?
I would just say, get around people that you know you aspire to be like, in a positive way.
Mm-hmm.
People doing things that you would want to see yourself doing in a positive way. Uh, or clear some space. Get things out of your life that you know that are not doing you any good.
Mm-hmm.
Start by taking little steps, baby steps. Try some things. You got a friend that you see that's doing well, and you see healthy results. Pick their brain. And then try little things out for yourself. Because I'm a big believer on everybody has their own path and experiences to go through. Like you said, you got to hit your rock bottom. Your rock bottom. I don't know what it may be, but I can't make it too real from you. But the only thing I could say is, try to find good people to be around that's going to encourage you to do better. People that's going to tell you the truth and be honest with you, and people that's going to give you that grace. And I think that's the start.
Yeah.
Little steps. I'm trying to change overnight. I tried that. It just don't work.
It's overwhelming.
It didn't work. It's
Yeah.
overwhelming. That's when I said, yo, I got to just do one thing. Just do one thing. And that's that. And then that's just kind of like when I used to go to church and stuff, and then every week it's a new sermon. It seemed like it's a new agenda to do every week. Like I used to be like, bro,
I didn't master the other one.
Yo, yeah, I'm still on last week, yo. So I said, look, I don't think I can flow like that. I'm going crazy. So I said, that's what with the marriage thing. I said, I'm gonna try one thing, and then over time, a little other things and characteristics and molding and shaping happen. So just take one step at a time. I think when we get a certain age, we know right from wrong. So when you get those feelings of like, yo, I'm in the wrong, and you know what it is for you, try to do the opposite of that, and try to get some consistency to that, and then see what the results happen. And if the results happen for you doing the different things, and if it's good to you, then you should be all right. I think you'll keep going along the way, and then become what you was destined to be.
Amen.
Yeah, that's it.
That's dope.
That's it. Yeah.
And then there are people who have a journey similar to yours, or just any kind of wild, crazy story, right?
Yeah.
And they come to a place where they've made the turnaround. They have made the shift for themselves. They now got a stable job or stable business or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But they don't feel worthy enough to help somebody else. They feel like they're too damaged. Their history is too dirty to help somebody else. Do you think that's true? Do you think that your history can be too dirty to help somebody else?
Nope. I don't believe that.
I agree.
I don't believe that, because all it takes is one choice. If you're going to help, then you're going to help. You're not, and it's not based on that. And that's just a deeper thing. If you're feeling inadequate, if you're feeling like you're not blessed enough or good enough, that's something different. And that's just a mental. You have to have a mental breakthrough to get through that. I used to feel like that. I mean, it took me a while to be comfortable to be like, all right, now I want to help others. And that happened when I really understood myself, you know, because I always been like that. Like if I was going to do something, I would be 100% in. And if I'm not 100% in, I wouldn't do it, so to speak. So it took me a while to really be like, all right, now I need to, I guess it was just bubble up inside of me too. So I think as it builds up, you're going to have to release it somehow. And hopefully it's not in a bad way. You know, some people release things in different ways. But as far as helping, when you get to the point where you can help, you're going to help. And that comes with having a foundation yourself, I guess, a sense of building your own foundation. So what I would say is don't feel obligated to help if you not right.
Right.
If it makes any sense.
No, I get that.
Because yeah, that'd be another situation. Trying to help when you can't help yourself.
Right. You got to start with you, like on the airplane. Mask on first.
You know, so yeah, that's what I would say about that.
Yeah, you know? I agree. I think that when it comes to people with a colored past, helping other people, you know, when I was going through certain experiences in my life, like when I spoke about my son's father passing, if you are, I was 23. So if my friend is 23 years old and married and have kids and they have a whole household together, I would never receive any advice from them on how to get over the trauma that I was going through. I would not think that they understood. I would not think that anything they had to say would lead me to a path of healing. And I really think that sometimes you have to have, I don't think sometimes, I think all the time, that you have to have lived a certain life to be able to pull somebody else out of that, you know? So they believe you. They believe that you went through that and you got through that and you understand them. I had a therapist one time when I was, I don't remember, I was younger, in my 20s. And her past was crazy, nuts. But, you know, the woman that she was when I met her was a complete 180. But she reminded me of somebody from the hood, right? She reminded me of somebody from the hood that I probably would never talk to, like, oh, who is that? Her history did. Her current self reminded me of my mother. And it felt way more relatable because I see you as my mom. I get that. But then I see you as somebody that can understand what I'm going through. Now, her history is a little crazier than mine, but I like that because I felt like you can't judge me.
Right.
You know? But I think it's important. And I agree with you when you say, if you're not ready, don't help. You know, work on you first. But I definitely don't think that anybody's history is too messed up to make a change in themselves and in other people. I think that makes you better. You know?
Yeah, I think it does. It's the I can't even say
authenticity.
Yes.
I get it. I get tongue tied too.
It's that, and it's real. You know what I mean? When what's crazy is when I, like in my raps, I talk about everything. And like I told you before, I said when I used to, like, let's see, all this stuff happened like 15 years ago, 15, 16 years ago. And I've been rapping since then too. So I put all these stories and everything we talked about in raps, but I stopped talking about those things in the raps because I did it so much. Like I was never ashamed to talk about any of my life, because I was just so amazed that I'm making it through this life. You know what I mean? With all that has happened. And I've helped a lot of people with my testimonies, you know. Even when I used to go to church, I used to get up there, get the mic and just go. And they'd be like, boy, you'd be like, time? Like, oh boy. Because it's just like so much to figure out and process. I learned forgiveness, you know what I mean? And, you know, forgiveness along my path. I lost empathy. So I was like, yo, I noticed that I'm getting too hard. Like I'm getting too focused to where I'm not trying to feel people.
Right.
And man, maybe that's why my relationships, as far as like just friendships and things like that, get distant as well. So it was more self-evaluation. My first project was called Self-Evaluation. So I really was diving deep, like, bruh, I know I gotta change something. I gotta change something. So I've always been like this. And then in one of the other raps I'm gonna send you, I was like, it's been 7 years of waiting. With patience, I dedicated my time to finding my mind. I was lost in my matrix. I had a whole world that I created that I was in, like, and in that world, I was just perfect, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, hold up, bro, what are you doing? My matrix. I said, let me step out of that and get back into the world. And with this, yeah, it's definitely who I am now. You know what I mean? It's not even about just the shirt. Like, it's just coming up out of me. So, and it's through the experiences. And I'm glad I had them because, man, the testimonies people give me is like, wow. It's really like, yo, a lot of people are going through a lot. And I feel that.
Yes.
And then I'll be like, at the same time, I'm like, yo, I apologize to anybody that I made them feel inadequate. Because there was a time I'm like, yo, work hard. We out here gritting, just go up. You know what I'm saying? Because I found what I thought at that time was like a little bit of success. It was successful, but it was more in a selfish way. So it's like, nah, man. Release. You can't get more with your hands full. You can't grab nothing. So it's like, bro, I'm planting mad seeds intentionally, you know, and it's not even about too much getting it back, but I know it's gonna come back because that's how energy flows. If I keep the flow going, and I'm constantly giving out and I'm constantly taking because there's other people that's doing the same thing.
Yes.
You know, and I tell people like I only could be around. I only around what I'm around. Like people I'm around, my community, people that I see, I interact with. That's where my space is, and I feel like God puts other people in other places. Like where you at, UNGA. There's plenty of people like us that's out here spreading energy.
Conductors.
Yeah, conductors. You know what I mean? Conductors. There's plenty around. Yeah. So I don't really stress about where I can't reach. I reach where I'm around in my vicinity because I know that when I touch this person, wherever they may go, see what I'm saying? And that's the vision I be having. Like it's like exploding all over. So, you know, and that's what keep me going too. And it's constant. But do I go through things? Yes. But over time I built up a mental fortitude. Like I built up some strength that my burnout, it takes a long time.
Gotcha.
You know, and when I talk to I like to talk to young people. The young people like that come to my job. My job is a well-paying job. It's cool. And I get these young cats, like when they coming in there, they 20, 18, and bro, they come in there making $24 an hour. Like, I'm like, yo, bro. And
they straight.
I'm like, yo, just get in here, stay focused. And I try to, you know, coach them through and stuff like that. Because they come with stories, man. You gotta hear them just coming up out the street, like, yo. And I'm like, you got here, bro. You know, and you know, I do things like that. I do things like, you know, when opportunities is presented, like, you know, like if you going to look for work and you get the application, I grab like 5 and I tell everybody the same time. Not like when I get the job, you know what I'm saying, first, and then I be like, I'm secure, so now here come. No. And I used to do that years ago. See what I'm saying? That's why I said the selfish me. The new me is like, yo, we all got the same. If you get it, cool. I'll know something else. You know what I mean? That's the type of things that I started to do. And I'm like, yo, because I know, and I think it's like, I know that I'm going to be good either way, you know? Yeah. And it's not even about monetary or nothing. It's just like, I'm at peace. Yeah, I'm at peace with life, and I appreciate everything in totality of it. Yeah, just being existed, you know what I mean, is life. So, and then just you make plans and arrangements, implementing plans, making arrangements, and executing. When they don't work out, then you do the same thing again. I mean, until you hit your last breath. That's how I look at it. Yeah. It's not worth the stress over a lot of these things that you can't control.
It's not.
You know? Especially just wandering on them. That's what puts you in that dark place.
Oh yeah.
So any happy moments, yo, reflect on them joints when you feeling down.
Mm-hmm.
Look at them like, dang, yesterday I was stressing, but today I'm here. So, like,
Yeah.
you
I
gotta,
remember one time spending 2 months, literally 2 months, stressing
yeah,
about a situation in my life.
yeah,
Stressing,
yeah,
crying. This is the worst thing that could ever happen. Oh my
yeah.
God. And I remember my mother saying, girl, snap out of it. And I was so mad. I'm like,
Right,
no,
right,
woe is me with me.
yeah,
Get in
right,
this pity party, okay?
right, right,
And
right,
then
right.
2 months later, the situation worked out to my benefit.
Yeah,
And I felt dumb. I'm like, I could have gotten to the same end without the stress.
man, I'm telling you, it's so crazy how it
It didn't
does.
make any sense.
Whole month, a whole
Two,
month,
2 months,
2 months,
2 months.
and you sit there like, and then you see how it work out, you be like, and then some, like I said, sometimes when they don't work out, like I said, you got to make another plan. But
Right,
that's just life. But
right.
along those 2 months, what was you doing? Just stressing out
And it
about
was
that.
helping nothing.
You could have
Nothing.
went fishing or something. You could have, in the interim, you could have just been like, all right,
Picked up
and
a whole hobby.
yeah, like something. And that's another thing I did too. For anybody that want to know, as far as like people to say, well, we human, we get mad. Yep, we do get mad. But guess what? I made something for myself. I said, yo, if I get really mad, I'll do it for 5 minutes. I'll curse, I'll kick, scream, whatever I gotta do. And sometimes it happens like if I'm in the car and I'll just be like, I'll just let it out. 5 minutes, and then I say, you know what? Now it's time to plan. What are you gonna do? What's your choices? What's your options? Man. And then I let it I go, But I do get mad sometimes, but I just do that 5 minute thing and boom,
Yeah. That's important.
Keep going.
That's important. To acknowledge your feelings. You have to acknowledge how you feel. And me as a woman, I get very concerned about men and their emotional well-being, because I feel like men as a whole are taught to be tough, suck it up. I love that you say take that time to focus on what's bothering you. Be mad, be sad, but then keep moving forward. And I get concerned with men, because I always say, like, women always do their emotional push-ups, right? We can handle a few setbacks and this went wrong and that went wrong, because we were crying anyway, we're crying, we're mad, we're sad, our emotions are all over the place. So when something really crazy happens, I feel, and I could be wrong, is my opinion, but I feel like we're more emotionally equipped to handle certain things, because men are not given the freedom to feel, even as boys. And I think it's important for men like you to tell other men and tell other boys, please feel what you're feeling. Don't stay in it, because that's how you get into that depressive state, but feel what you're feeling. And I think that's dope. You take that time to recognize it and then move forward.
Yeah, you gotta recognize it. And then that's it, like the 5 minute joint. And then there's situations where I got like mad where it took a day or so, but I always could think through them. And then the main thing where I've changed too is like being like, yo, yep, I was wrong. You know what I mean? I was wrong. I can say that too. You know what I mean? And it'd be tough, but it'd be like, nah, I messed up. I messed up on that. Because like I said, I used to love to argue, like just because. And I'm like, that's trash. I'll be saying, I'll be like, bro, that was trash. So I constantly work. The main thing I've been working on was empathy though. I think that was like a major part, because I was just on some, get it by any means. I did 70 double shifts in a row one time. Yeah, see?
Why?
Yeah, whole different set, and just being so gun-ho that I said, man, I don't know, I might not be connecting with people that much with this type of rhetoric, maybe it's another way to say these things. Because I just got so cold just from not having things at one time, that I just started being like, nah, it's no excuses. But then I said, yo, I'm mad aggressive. I said, nah, I need to get my empathy back. I said, I noticed I got cold over the years, and I don't know why, but I'm like, yeah, let's fix that. So I started that. I started to listen more. You know what I mean? Like really listen to people, not just like I started to really be intent about listening. Cause I said, man, I don't be listening to people, because they be like, yeah, man, I'm tired. I'd be like, man, get your butt up. Like, see what I'm saying? I'd be like, man,
Right.
ain't no tired, it ain't no. But I'm like, man, I don't know their whole story. So it's like, I gotta listen more. So I started doing that. Just pruning. I'm constantly pruning. And then with my marriage, that's the big part. I tell people, first 3 years of our marriage was hell.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The first 3 years, bringing the New York vibe to the laid back vibe. Honeymoon phase was great, but then my New York aggressiveness mixed with the laid back, I'm like, it was just always crunchy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, the main thing I think the foundation was built when we did how we did, you know what I mean? As far as knowing each other at first and then we getting into those things, because it probably would have been easy for me to be like, yo, I'm out. I almost left 3 times, but I always came back because I said, you know what? I need to honor what I said. And I always been an honorable person, like as far as like loyalty and stuff is concerned. So I think it was easy for me to really just keep thinking about that. Like, no, I can't leave this. I remember when I was on the altar, what I said, you know what I mean? And it always was like, boom. So I think after the 3 years, we started really communicating more and diving deeper into each other. And then I started to grow more on my positivity and things and my empathy and my listening and everything like that. And I think over time, it just started to gel. So we coming up on 12 years now.
That's awesome.
So, and it's so dope to see that because, you know, me walking around, see other marriages and stuff, and I hear things and, you know, it's just like, wow, we really out here moving like that? And I said, nah, for real. It's just like, it amazes me, these stories and, you know, and I'm just like, man, I thank God that I got something that's real, you know, and we can do the thing where we could come back and have a conversation like, all right, I messed up here, or whatever it was, and really want to get back, not based on anything like, you know, superficial, like nothing crazy, you know, it's just based off we do love each other, like to the point where we want to make it work, like just having that, not the stubbornness to be like, F you. So, yeah, it's good.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, what is next on things to do for Daniel and Positive Energy?
Yo, that's a whole nother story. Like, I don't even know. Like, it just evolved. Like, when I started Positive Energy, like I said, I was in the Chick-fil-A, and it was an idea, like, I want people to see and feel what I feel. Then I was like, I need to do something different. It's always me comparing myself because I always try to do business stuff and all of that, but it always failed because I wasn't into it. I was just like, I got to be successful, got to have a business. And then what I would do, I would get everything looking like it was a proper business. Like I would have a website, no clients yet. I'm just like, you look at it, you like, yo, this dude doing it up. See what I'm saying? That's how, and I said, you know what? I'm not doing the old way I used to do things. I said, I'm going to start this. I could start with everything looking great, but I'm going to start from the crappiest part, the bottom. Like from what I've known to see, like with other brands and stuff. I said, I'm going to start intentionally from the trunk, even though I don't have to start there, but I'm going to start there. I started, I went on Teespring and I made up a little design. It was trash. I wish I could see it. I don't even know what the shirt is. My wife wears it as a nightgown sometimes. I gotta get it. I wanna frame it. And it looks so horrible, like to be honest with you. But I was like, yo, I designed it, cool. And I always had a problem with procrastination and stuff like that. But I always got stuff done, but I wasn't too proactive like with the snap, like, yo, take the call now, do this now. I used to be like linger. So with that, I made the design and then I'm like, should I put it out? Should I not? So now I'm in my head. Do it look good? Do it don't? So I finally said, yo, I'm gonna put it out. And I made some alterations to the design and I got it to where I thought it would be cool. Put it out. I got 7 people that ordered it. Boom. Then, 7 people. I wanted 50. And then what's crazy is I showed people the mock-up and it was like 150 people. And they're like, yo, I'm going to buy one. And I only got 7. Cool. I said, I'm cool. And then I put it on hold because I had a situation come up in the house, like a pipe bust. Something happened. and I had to just go on some overtime run and get a couple of $1,000 to fix something in the house. So I kind of got off that deal, and then I brought it back. So what I'm saying is, what's next? It just evolved into me wanting to start off from the ground, which I did, and I sold about 300 garments. You know what I'm saying? Just hand to hand it. I started at work with my peoples at work, and then just hand to hand it all the way up. And I wasn't doing my own printing. My friend was doing it for me.
Okay.
So it was like a week to a 2-week turnaround because he works. And I would send him the shirts and he press them up. Then I got to go pick them up. He live across town. So then I go do that. I was doing that for a couple. Then I got to the point where I was like, dang, I sold 300 of these, but I need to make the time quicker till they get their garments. So then I made my own lab and I started creating them myself. So then I had to learn the game. I ain't know nothing about t-shirt printing or nothing. So learned the game. I'm like, cool. Now everybody getting their stuff in a week. Mine is 2 weeks and waiting. And I ain't got to go across town to pick up shipments. I'm right here.
Right.
And it evolved into something else. Then I started getting my quality up and everything and just evolved from there. So basically what I'm saying is, what's next? I got a plan, right? But I've been going with the flow. Like the demand been up. So then it's like, okay, at first people was just getting it from me. They was used to that. They got it quicker, got that. Then it's like, okay, quality, step that up. And then evolved again where now everybody's asking me, where's the website? And I had a website built. I have it built. It's built. But at that time when they were starting to ask, it wasn't a lot of people. But now it's like 100 people, 150 people like, yo, I need the website, that website. So now I'm like, all right, website. So basically I'm just going with the demand of the flow of what I have instead of pushing so hard. I'm like filling it out, interacting with people, customers, and just building it. And it's building organically itself, which is amazing. So what's next for me is the website. Yo, I gotta get it. I keep telling my brother, and he's great with that stuff. And, he's been helping me too with marketing stuff and just ideas and ways to present things too. So he's definitely a pillar in this as well. So what's next is the website. I want to do some vendor stuff, I definitely, COVID hit. Right before COVID hit, I was doing shows and stuff because, I rap too. So, doing shows and stuff before the COVID hit. I was about to do some vendor tables and things and do a community event, and then COVID hit. So everything shut down and stuff like that. So when you say what's next, man, and they talking about shutting stuff down again. So I don't know. I want to get out in the community. I usually have a radio bump box. Me and my bro, Young Father, we get out in the community, we rap, and we did 2 shows where we raised money for victims of gun violence.
Awesome.
Yeah, we did, and we call those Lyric for Lyric. The first one was a year, 2 years ago, and then we did 1 year last year. So that was good and stuff like that. So I want to get out in the community. I like to get out. So as soon as the COVID stuff all get if we do get lined up.
I know. I'm waiting on it. I can't wait anymore. I have to, but.
I'm telling you. So I plan on getting out in the streets and doing some community things. One thing I want to do first is like a youth basketball tournament thing where we get the ball and all of that.
That'd be dope.
Have some speakers and rappers and stuff like that and do something like that. And just basically building the brand. I got a rebrand. That's a whole nother story too, because positive energy is so cliche. I knew when I created this shirt, I said I couldn't name my brand Positive Energy. See? So that's why I came with the PEIEKC to get me a unique name so that I could go forward. And that I got that. So that. So rebrand coming, website coming, new designs coming, and we just gonna roll from there, man. And community outreach coming.
That's dope. That's dope. Where can people get the shirts now?
From me directly at Daniel Said It on Instagram, DanielSaidit on Instagram. That's the best place to hit me. for now on DM.
Awesome. I had a great experience getting multiple shirts from you. Obviously, I have one with Trading Positive Energy, and I recommend them. I love the shirt. Your customer service is amazing. The turnaround time was really good. I don't have the sticker sitting on my desk, but I love the sticker.
The sticker, it's not official. You don't have the sticker, it's not official.
There's a sticker in each package, and it's sitting right over there. But so I have my stickers, and I'm just looking for a place to put them right now.
Okay.
But I think your journey is just something that is truly inspirational. I think it helps people to see that it doesn't matter where you are right now. You can make a decision to change your life, and that no, it's not going to be overnight, and it will be challenging, but it's possible. It's possible. And I thank you for sharing your journey. I thank you for being who you are and continuing to spread that positive energy.
Hey, I appreciate you having me on.
No problem. No problem. Thank you so much, Daniel, for being on today.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Anytime.
I think it's just being genuine with people. Mm-hmm. I don't cut any corners. I really try to tell you how it is, like it is. And when you be genuine with people, it kind of draws them. And just show them a little attention, and just listen to them sometimes. That's all it really takes with a lot of people. Just they want somebody to listen to what they have to say, because they may not feel that what they have to say is important. If you just listen to some people, sometimes, that takes you a long way. But the measure of that man is not how many times he gets knocked down, but when he gets up. You know what I'm saying? And the Bible tells you that, just stand, just get back up. A righteous man falls 7 times, but just get back up. You're outside of your comfort zone is where you will excel. And there's examples everywhere. When God talked to Abraham, he told him to, leave the land that you're comfortable with. So he was telling him then to step out of your comfort zone and go away from your family, and I'm going to bless you.